Okay. Yeah.
Like
next to you.
Yeah.
One clap.
There it is.
There we go.
There it is.
Welcome to the Get the Goods podcast. We are here. We got Eugene in the building.
Yes, sir.
Paige in the building.
Yes, sir.
Erica, the Honorable in the building. Jamel.
Yes, sir.
Campbell. Gooch.
all
The
good
man,
names.
the myth, the legend.
JRCG.
The public figure. We
Yes,
are
sir.
live here, and I'm Mike Floss. Thank y'all so much for being with us. Another week. Look, it's been a lot going on this week, y'all.
Look, we've lived
Hey.
decades in these last 2 weeks. And
We
I'm
have
not
been
playing.
conjured from the past and the future.
Nah, yeah, all at the same
In this
time.
1 week. It's been a lot. It's been a whole lot.
My
but
goodness.
look, we still standing and we still strong. We Antoine Fisher. All right. So
Oh,
what
wow.
So
I'm
what?
still here. That's good.
So
Celie also said the same thing. Go ahead.
what Celie say?
I'm here. She said, I don't need you to love me. I don't need you to love.
I thought she said you told Harpo to beat me.
She said a lot.
She did say a lot.
All right,
She
for
did
She
say
got
a
a lot
lot.
of one- she
That
got
was
a
a piece
one-liners.
of it. And then she gets to the point where she's like, you know what? I'm here. I'm good.
How hard do you think it would be to have somebody that obviously hates you, hand them a razor blade, and have them shave your neck?
Like for the part to be that person to.
Yeah, like the original color purple.
What's
That's
his
in
name?
the that's in the book too.
What's
Yeah,
his name? Mister.
Mister. Yeah.
You're just like here.
I know, but I think people who are that level of just harmful are sometimes oblivious. Like they don't
That's
think
what I
the
was
people
gonna
they
say.
harm will do anything to them.
I was gonna say, how self-absorbed do you have to be
That's fair.
Yeah.
to
and
misplace
just
your trust?
Yeah.
I know
unaware, yeah.
that you have been terrible to this
Yeah.
person.
But Celie, she did survive, and not only did she survive, she ended up thriving and
There it
being
is.
deep in love with herself. And then she found love with Suge. Well, it was Suge, then herself, then Suge again.
I got some. Actually, you know what? That's a good conversation. We might
sure.
add that into today.
Sure.
Love is a good conversation because I got a new. I have a new perspective. Shout out to. I want to call him Unc. I'm gonna leave his name out, but I'm gonna just call him Unc
Your friend, okay, that's
because he
real.
gave me some good game. But look, this to Get the
I'm
Goods
so
podcast.
interested,
My
yes.
fault. I've derailed the intro. I do have a retraction, and I'm gonna just say that
Yep.
you know we all make mistakes.
We do.
We do.
We make mistakes, and sometimes they're egregious.
No, we do.
Sometimes they're egregious. I will say that Big Gip is alive and well.
He is.
He is amongst the living.
How you gonna try to kill somebody?
I
else?
didn't.
Nah.
I mixed something up. I'm still trying to figure that out.
Live, brother, live.
I'm figuring that out. You know what it might have been? As a griot, with the ability to conjure from the past and the future, sometimes your timelines,
Be off a little bit.
Be
yeah,
off.
yeah,
because
yeah.
they all happening at the same time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a multiverse.
Have
You
you
know what
ever
I'm saying?
shifted timelines?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last episode.
You did. You shifted timelines. That's so wild.
Yeah, I don't know where that. I don't know how I mixed him. I don't know.
Yeah.
But my apologies.
keep him in
We
alive.
want our people to be alive and well, and we're happy that he is here
Living
amongst
long
us.
All
lives,
blessings.
healthy lives.
But as
Yeah.
we always do, like we always do at this time. Wait, I don't know if we can
It's
say that
some-
anymore.
Okay.
No.
Anything in the news that y'all would be? It's from Kanye Good Life, so I
Yeah.
was like, I don't know if.
Yeah, you don't know if you want to mention.
Oh my
That's
goodness,
crazy,
yeah.
man.
No, that's real. Let's
Miss
not.
him so bad,
Ugh.
though, Kanye. Yeah.
Block out. Anyways,
Yeah, no, for
yeah,
real.
we
It's
just have
that
to
weird.
cross a line through his name.
Yeah.
A lot of
A
people
line?
names. Oh, a line.
We
You
throwing
might need to
people
erase
away?
that mug.
Some people,
Oh, come on!
get far away from me.
Nah,
Yes,
for real.
get
Away
far
from me,
away
yeah.
It's called
Okay.
from
boundaries.
us until you get yourself together. People all over. This is my news. I got a few.
Come on.
People on Threads and Instagram and on social media are really showing their for some internalized patriarchy and sexism, for others their deep commitment to patriarchy, sexism, and gender-based violence, and how folks are responding to this trial, this Sean Combs trial, and some other things that are going on in the world. And I'm just like, oh my God, are we really surrounded by this many harmful people?
Yeah.
It is actually extremely devastating. And so the way that we see like conservative, harmful ideology and values show up in black people is scary. And that's been showing up in like
And
how
egregious.
people approach Christianity, how they've been talking about it on social media. And it has always been there, but now we just see it because we have social media. And so that's a piece of my news. The other piece of my news is that in Atlanta, a black woman who unfortunately, like, she is, she's brain dead, but she's pregnant, and they are keeping her alive because of the state law around abortion.
Oh, that's.
I have not heard of
Yeah,
this.
it is
wild.
wild and extremely
That's-
scary because, like, oh, that's what you do. That's actually how you think. That's how they think about our bodies.
But it's complex though.
How's it? No, her family is like, no.
Oh, her family's
family's
saying
like,
no.
let
Oh,
let her
okay.
go. Let her
How
her
long?
go.
How far along in the pregnancy?
I think like 9 weeks.
Uh,
I gotta go back
Oh,
and look
that's
at it, but I
wild.
feel
Nah,
like
that's
it was
wild.
9
That's
weeks because
wild.
when I saw that, I was like, that's
yeah.
horrible. It's just
Oh, okay.
so far to go.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
well, it's like to even
Yeah.
get
How's
to
that even
turn-
going to work? I don't even.
I don't know, but
Yeah.
these people are mad evil, but in a celebratory, like, no, that's horrible. And for me, it makes me just think about like the enslavement of our people and how like,
That's-
oh, your bodies are literally only here to produce and to labor
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The bo-
for white supremacy and capitalism.
yeah, the bodily autonomy thing is like definitely wild and interesting.
It's been under attack, but then it's been like black Christians who some black Christians who've been supporting this wild behavior.
Yeah,
because they're like, oh, like even this language of like, oh, I know I'm going on a tangent.
No, go
This
on.
language around like there's people around black women and abortion and being like black women are the number one killers of black people because of abortion. Are you serious?
Oh, yeah.
Like, but people were using that language, and then Roe v. Wade was overturned,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
and then all these states passed these legislation basically banning abortion and people's access to like their choice and bodily autonomy and how they choose to live their family and what it looks like to raise a family. And so for me, it's just been on my mind that how actually, you know, Trump is just a symptom of a larger issue of people's commitment to harm and control because they lack freedom and they lack choice. They want to take it away from other people.
I have a couple questions around this topic.
Yeah, I went on a tangent. I'm sorry.
No, you good. This is very interesting. I think, okay, the first thing that came to my mind, well, maybe not the first thing, but one thing that came to my mind is the child's father
Yeah.
and how does that?
the feet? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the proper language is
Yeah.
here,
The fetus, yeah.
but the fetus's paternal
Parent,
side.
Yeah.
That's good. That was good.
What does that decision look like?
I don't know. I want to learn. I do need to look more into that because I'm curious on like where that person is in it. Yeah.
And then my other question is, in the event that y'all find yourself in a situation where somebody has to make medical decisions for you, who you want to make that decision? Who you gonna pick?
That's a good question. Okay. I want y'all to team up with my mama
Okay,
and my little sister Ebony. My sisters. My bad. Take her name
that's
out.
a lot
though.
of votes.
Y'all collaborative governance.
You need an odd number.
Yeah.
You need an odd number. So
my
it can't be
parent-
both your sisters.
No,
'cause
my
then that's
parent. If you add my parents
3. Oh, that's 5.
and my 2 sisters
And us.
plus y'all, it's 5.
Okay, we can
Yeah.
come to a majority vote.
Yeah.
But the people that vote against the 3, they're gonna be hot.
But just remember, I'm held whether I'm in this realm or the next. So don't try to hold on to me if you don't need to.
Yeah.
Because I might be more of a force.
Catch me in the whirlwind. For me, it would be my mom. She
You don't want me to help?
ain't gonna let nothing fly.
Absolutely not.
Right.
We don't.
It's gonna be my mom.
I'm
Oh my!
surprised.
First of all, we're gonna have to collect you from off the floor.
Yeah, it's gonna take a while. It's gonna take a while for everything to settle.
Gonna be toe up
Yeah.
trying to make that decision.
My mom
Oh,
would
you
be
ain't gonna sleep
headstrong.
for a week.
Oh yeah, no, for real.
Yeah, I don't even want to put that.
That's
That's
real.
not a cross you need to bear, Queen.
Thank you.
That's,
okay. I'm going to
that's
just
a lot.
Terry. I'm going to pray.
I do have a question after you answer.
For me, I need an odd number. All my numbers come out to even numbers. Who can I add in?
Ooh, Lord.
Me?
I know, but if I put y'all 2, my 2 sisters, my mom and my daddy,
Yeah.
That's
that's
6.
6.
Add
Yeah.
in the, brother.
But I gotta add both.
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
Every single time.
All my numbers is even numbers.
Add in the niece. Nah, don't put that on no kid.
Now I gotta add both. Like,
There's sets going on.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We don't have, it's all even
throw
numbers.
in Lee.
Now I gotta add true.
It's a lot of people.
It's no way.
That's why I took the shortcut.
Mike got a delegation.
You know what?
I'll
I'll put it on my dad.
Yeah, one person.
I'm gonna give it to my twin.
That's real.
Twin gonna hold it down.
That's
Because that
real.
one person might talk to all them people.
Yeah. He
That's right.
gonna be able to navigate
Yeah.
it the best, and he
That's
gonna
a
be
good point.
emotionally stable enough
Yeah.
to make it through.
Yeah,
That's a good
so I
point.
had a question around the bodily autonomy thing, but also the Diddy thing too. So,
Okay, come on.
since you ran it all together,
Oh yeah, because it's all connected.
to what? How would you connect it?
Also the Christian fundamentalism.
Erica?
Like it's just
Erica,
Oh
Erica,
my God, I'm sorry.
How would you
Is that what you're asking me?
connect them? Yes, that's my first question. How would you connect those two things?
I mean, I think the way I just connected them, that a lot of it is about like taking away people's access to choice, particularly women, femme folks,
Yep.
people who don't align with whiteness or a white man, like taking away their choice. And
Okay.
even white men lack choices too, because to be able to control somebody, you also have to be able, you taking away your choice too.
Yes, that was my question because I think
But
like,
also this commitment to like harm
Yes,
and
so-
lack of accountability.
so I think all of that stuff is consequence of us living in like a very almost a late stage capitalism.
Not almost.
oh,
Definitely.
it's late.
Well, yeah. well, yeah. I think that's a big dog.
Nothing broke, Lee.
All right. I think that all of that is a result of us living in late stage capitalism because it's like, I think the powers that be, the status quo, has figured out how to cage our minds really easily. Right?
Oh
Whether it's
yeah,
through,
in our
like,
imagination.
yeah, whether it's through like social media or like geo tracking or all of those things. So, do you think like the final frontier of that like control mechanism is your body? It's like literally what you.
It
can
started
do,
with our body.
but at one point in time, it shifted to our minds.
Say more.
Okay, so right around
Probably.
when the group consciousness started, when the masses of people started to understand mass incarceration was inherently wrong. Like even at one point in time, I remember one point in time we were doing our organizing work and people were saying, "Yo, we have over-invested in police." Right? So that became a popular narrative that mass incarceration did not solve our problems. So at that point in time, I mean, I literally had folks that got out of prison when Obama changed the mandatory sentencing law, like immediately. Like I know folks that got out immediately at that point in time. So as that became more nuanced in the conversation of caging bodies, then we started getting social media algorithms. The timeline started to change. YouTube started to have reels that would show you exactly what you like.
So you get the new Jim Crow, then you get
Yes.
what was the what was the Netflix show?
13.
It was 2. The 13th, then
Yeah.
the other one about the trial in New York.
Yes,
Oof.
blanking on that. Yeah, that was
Dang,
and
it was
I saw that
13th,
one-
and
I saw
then
that one time.
I
but
still
put that
haven't
out
been
my
able to
mind.
watch it. But
Yeah.
and then you get Fruitville Station.
Yep.
So there was a trend. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
a lie, and then
Yeah.
so then you get the Trayvon Martin folks came out and really that came to attention, and then you had BLM movement.
Yeah, and so like for instance, I mean, I'm 36. I remember what it's like without social media.
But there was still programming though. There was
Right.
TV, there was radio.
Yeah.
But now
It was radio.
now you carry the programming in your pocket though.
That's
You see what I'm
But
saying?
so you think that was a result of like people gaining deeper consciousness?
No, I think as we have diverse as the caging of our bodies became less satisfactory for the appetite of
because
the
you
masses.
couldn't incarcerate people. Is okay.
So
gotcha.
now it's like, okay, we still have to control people in some sort of
So
way.
we're gonna use the technology.
So we're gonna use data.
And then also, what do they call it? Is a particular term for the type of surveillance that happens outside and the type of incarceration that happens outside of like a prison per se.
open air prison.
Yeah, that. Yeah. So then it's
Right.
like you get fuchsias and you get LPRs and
So what I'm saying is are we living in a point where it's starting to kind of reset and go back to we're going to control a bodily autonomy, but we're going to control it in a different way. We're not going to lock it up in cages. We're just going to limit every single thing you possibly can do with your body so that we can predict what you're going to do. Because if the masses become more predictable, they're easier to market and sell to and exploit.
Yeah.
That's
I
just
definitely
where my
think we're
mind
there.
goes.
We're 100%
Yeah,
there.
that's why my mind goes.
Like-
The thing about Diddy, what I wanted to say is that isn't it interesting that these people have always been talking about our entertainers, black entertainers. They get to a certain level, and then some of them come out and be like, "I think the devil in there."
Yeah,
Like literally be like, "I think the devil is in." Like I think like literally the devil.
he's in there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
cool.
the devil is in there. And they would never say what they were talking about. That was crazy. And they would never say what they were talking about. But every single time I tap into the Diddy trial, I'd be like, "Dang, they was right. It was really some devilish shit going on
Yeah.
back there that they really couldn't explain."
Well, one piece though that I want to like, I know people are studying this and want to think more about is like, yeah, there's this like, you know, open air prison incarceration, targeted policing, and LPRs and surveillance, and then like the way the algorithm kind of like tells you what you want to see,
And what you
and
should
even
think.
with ChatGPT. But like even before that, I think folks that lacked imagination before that, like, but we see it more. And I guess what I keep thinking about is just like how I've been seeing like black people, like some black people, and like this thing, and how black conservatives and like Christian fundamentalism, how I've been seeing that. And I don't think that's the algorithm per se for a lot of people. I think that if you go into a lot, I don't know what churches y'all went to. So after I came out of middle school, I went to like more progressive churches. But before that, we was in the churches where it was like, no, you sit up front if you are pregnant and you are not married. Like it was those type of thing. It was like, no, you stay married no matter what. I don't care if like, you know, your husband is being abusive or there's harm. Like those things were happening, and those were big churches.
No, I agree.
Hold on. So I got a question. So how are you connecting that to the algorithm now?
So I'm saying like I don't want to
saying it's
blame
not
the
the
algorithm. I don't want to say that it's the algorithm alone that is like producing these like
maybe
right wing
people's
black people.
behaviors have just have switched the location. So those things were happening just in like physical spaces, but now that there's this type of social media infrastructure, it's going to travel to that place too.
Well,
Yeah.
I will say I do think the algorithm is platforming it, right? Because when we
That's
talked
fair.
about when
That's a good
I
point.
can't remember what we were looking at, but it was a study on how much right wing media is there. So there's a reason why right wing
Like,
media
do you
is
know
so
what
heavy on
the
social
top
media.
podcast that black people listen to? One of them is Joe Rogan.
That's what I'm saying. And so
It's a very big podcast.
and so like there's
Black people are listening to
yeah.
that.
So the top podcast
and the Breakfast Club.
the top podcasts are right-wing podcasts, right? So if the algorithm is already like, okay, these are the top podcasts that are holding these very Christian, evangelical, fundamental beliefs, then anything that hits that
It's
certain-
gonna prop up.
Right, and then
Yeah.
what ends up happening is it becomes a popular thing. Now everybody else thinks it cool. Because I remember also growing up where those churches were, and literally my mama sitting me down and be like, look, we ain't going there no more because we don't believe in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they did that there today, so we ain't going back. But now it's like the algorithm will show it to you in a way that's like, yeah, it's cool to do this.
Yeah.
It's cool, it's popular.
That's
it's getting
fair.
you clicks, it's getting you views,
Yeah.
it's getting
Yeah.
you looks.
Yeah.
Then what does that turn into? Positive reinforcement of people's behavior. So more people start doing
Yeah.
it. So it just moves that along.
It's intense though. It's
Yeah,
like
no, it is.
the way I'm seeing it with people is like it's been heartbreaking.
Is it possible that humanity in mass, I don't want to believe this, but is it possible that humanity in mass is much darker than we think it is?
Can I answer this question?
And when I say dark, I mean negative, I mean
Yeah.
hateful, I mean all of these things.
Can I answer this question?
Yeah.
I would say no, right?
Okay.
And the reason why is out of personal experience is like people have when I have trusted the people, not corporations, not LLCs, not people that have their universal translations, like none of that crazy stuff. When I've actually relied on people, it has always went in a way that makes more sense. That's why if we talk about systemically, that's why things like voting, why they try to limit people's ability to vote. Because if voting was easy and the masses could participate in the democratic process easily, our whole entire government system would look completely different. It would be more reflective. So in mass, no. But I do think the loudest voices are usually the darkest ones.
I agree.
Because
That's fair.
they play off of what we say alone to ourselves. They play off of our negative
That's what I was gonna say, because I feel like
thoughts.
capitalism exploits what sometimes is human behavior, like jealousy, feeling insecure. It's human behavior, but then you get in like community or you be in conversation, and you can, work through those things. But capitalism will tell you, no, you're insecure because you don't have those clothes. No, you're insecure or you're jealous because that person is gay, and this gay person is why you don't have health insurance, which is a total lie. But it's like those things where it's like
the gay man is taking all the straight men away from the.
Yeah, it's like what are y'all talking about? But it's like those things where I think it's like actually just exploiting people's fear, or not even fear, but people's desire for safety and belonging. It exploits it and turns it on its head.
And then sell it back to you.
Yeah.
I can't remember who said this, but they was talking about how marketing a product, they're not marketing the product, they're marketing the feeling, right? And I can't remember what they were talking about, but they was talking about
probably a Happy Meal.
They were talking about how Nike isn't selling you sports apparel, they're selling you greatness. They're selling you the feeling of being great, right? And so I think not only does it play on that, but then it'll package it. It'll tell you that you're terrible, you suck, and you lack greatness. But if you buy this $250 Nike tech suit, you'll be the greatest person alive.
You're gonna be fired. They gonna respect you.
And if you add the shiesty,
you gonna get it.
you can get a lot of Nike Tech tracksuits.
Why would you say that? But I do have good news.
Yeah,
come on.
So one of the largest plantations in Louisiana is burning. It's burning. And what's so wild is, there's one still here in Nashville where people be getting married at, y'all.
Oh, yeah, still.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, that is so disgusting that people get married there. But also, great news. Burn it to the ground.
Also in Louisiana, there was just recently a prison break.
It was.
11 inmates or incarcerated people escaped.
Yep.
And are currently on the run. A couple of them got caught, I believe. One of them got caught using facial recognition software in the streets, which is crazy. Yeah. But I think it's very interesting how they presented the news about these people escaping. Yeah. Because one thing that I noticed that they did was they listed folks' crimes.
Charges,
charges, better word. But like what they were convicted of doing, they listed them out next to their names, saying that these people are at large. And I think it's a challenge for anybody who claims to be an abolitionist. It's like, okay, here's a test. Yeah. How a lot of people feel like they are abolitionists until a crime touches a specific hot point.
Nah, for real.
Right? And then you see people begin to shift their stance. Yeah. I think it's like if we don't believe in the prison industrial complex, then seeing this list of things to me, when I read this, is like, okay, well, there was probably 10 million things that happened before what they're saying happened. We don't even know if what they're saying happened even happened. But I think if we get into the root of the issue, then we're not starting at what they were convicted of. We're starting at what put them in the predicament to be at this place at this particular time. But that's where my mind goes. But I know a lot of people's mind is going to go like, oh, no, this is a convicted blah, 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 that's out on the loose. So I'm just curious to what y'all think is like, how do you navigate that conversation if you're having it with everyday folks and you hold this abolitionist politic? How do you have that conversation?
Oh, that's a good question. I appreciate that question. I think a lot of the times when I've had to like talk about prisons, I think because our people have such an intimate relationships with prison, I've also had to have this similar conversation around other historical harms. It's like, does it make them better though? Like, usually people have such a direct relationship with somebody who was formerly incarcerated. They'll usually be like, nah, they didn't come. It took them a minute before they got back to society. So I think like that's where I start at. And then the other thing is, and I've heard several folks say this, like, I think it's general understanding that we cannot cage and arrest or lock out whatever's happening into our community away. Like, we can't do that. That doesn't work. That doesn't solve the actual issue that is causing that behavior to happen. So I usually try to use a version of those two things, right? It's like throwing something in isolation doesn't mean that the problem...
That it went away.
That the problem went away, right? There's an actual issue happening in that community. And then the third thing was when I started studying violence intervention and like folks using like the public health model talking about how violence spreads like a disease. And so if you have people that are experiencing violence and you just put them somewhere, that violence still exists in that community like a contagion. So yeah, those are the three things that like I kind of try to swirl around when talking about the nuances of these issues.
I think I really try to listen to what
absolutely.
people are
Actually
saying and what they're really longing for, and it's the same thing that I think I desire, is to be safe, to not be afraid that if I walk down the street something horrible will happen to me. There's I want to be safe, to like just really exist. And I think the thing that is really frightening when we talk about abolition is that the truth is so many things that happen, so many types of harm go uneven like accounted for. I think two things are true about the criminal legal system and the way it exists now is that one, most of the instances of harm that happen go unlike accounted for. There's no accountability. And then the second thing is that when there is some type of like when a person is prosecuted, many times people plead out, so there is no even like display of even like having a process. And so I think that's one thing to keep in mind. The other thing that feels important is that the criminal legal system, prison, courts, police is like insufficient at safety. Like it fails to keep us safe. It is not an actual way to foster and create safe communities.
It does not work.
But when you talk about what do we do after somebody has been harmful and is consistently harmful, like somebody like Sean, somebody like that, like what do you do?
Right.
A part of I think our work, which is why we focused on the varsity spending plan, is like one of our answers to that question has been, well, we need to build something up that prevents that type of harm, right? How do we, like you named it, what was happening in these folks' lives for it to get to that point, right? So how do we address that? But still the question remains, if a person is consistently harmful, what do we do? And I think that we got to do more work to figure that out, because you can't act like if somebody's like, no, like this person is being harmful to me, they will not stop. What y'all gonna do? Like what y'all gonna do for real? So, and I think some people are answering that question. Right? Some people are answering that question, but I do think as a part of our work is like organizes people who are like redefining public safety. I think we have to sit with those those really critical questions and not just be like, oh, well, what about what happened to them when they was a child, or what about like there are people who like you have to be honest, like no, if we don't actually confront that people are actually being harmed by each other, then we're not gonna.
He's hitting me in my face now.
This is happening right now. This person will not stop now. But
I don't think it goes against an abolitionist like politic to say, no, we can separate people from community, separate people from who they're being harmful towards, or separate them from whatever it is that they're being harmful about. And maybe there's some form of re-education that can happen in that space. Kind of like when we went to Cuba, the way their prison is set up is totally different than the way it is here. Not to say that we want to lock people in the cages, but the agenda here is now, okay, we need to do a deep analysis on how you got to this place. Right. And you may have to do that separated from the place that you're being harmful in. But I think there may be a human and honorable way to do that. And
the other thing that I've heard in critique of just abolition is just a thing that doesn't exist outside of addressing like patriarchy and white supremacy and capitalism, is that like it doesn't factor for like the system of capitalism, white supremacy necessitates, it creates harmful, right? It creates harmful behavior, and it takes away people's choices to make better decisions, to make healthy decisions. And so trying to say we're just trying to redefine public safety without restructuring society is actually like, I don't know if that's going to work. So yeah, we're trying to build a new world, better worlds.
literally.
And in the meantime, how do we factor for like the current moment?
Before I get into like my piece of news, I do want to like respond to some of this. There's been an interesting tension that I've been feeling around like that new world piece, because I do think like we've existed on this world for a very long time, and some of these issues we had the solution to: colonization, whitewashing, the process that they took us through with enslavement, the transatlantic slave trade. I think that wiped away some of these solutions. So it's almost like, what does it look like to reset it back to before that time, right? When we actually had solutions to these issues of being together. Because these are just complex problems that come about with community. And if we've always been in community, then there's been millions of years of people solving these issues.
But it's also community under
though.
extreme white supremacy
That's
and
what I'm saying.
capitalism.
Extreme
So I don't
harm.
know if them problems existed.
I
That's
don't know.
real.
You think Diddy I don't know if that problem existed.
I don't think one person generates that much
Yeah.
control
Yeah.
over that many people if you're not wielding money over there.
Yeah. The other thing that I read that was like where we put prison cages, capitalism, or where society has placed this in this current moment used to be a place of ritual, insight, meditation, education, and learning. Right? And so like you said, capitalism extremes all of the things where it makes it difficult to hold.
Yeah.
But also those 5 things I just listed, we have been intentionally stripped away of the things that could solve these issues.
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
what's been going on with y'all in y'all lives?
Oh, so
We got some more news.
Yeah.
Go
So
ahead.
of course we're in budget season.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So like where we're at right now is the mayor has delivered his budget to city council. Right now where Nashville is, we're still on an uptick. Right, this year our budget is $3.8 billion. That's about $700 million more than it was last year. So our budget has grown, and so like right now we are working through like getting the varsity spending plan fully funded, but our local budget is top priority right now because we're in budget season.
Yeah, that's real. And
Should we name the win?
Oh, the one, yeah. Well, there's $1 million allocated for the Office of Youth Safety in the mayor's budget, and $250,000 allocated for community center programming, which has been a part of our demand. So that's really, really great.
Yeah. And last year we was trying to get into the mayor's budget,
right?
Yeah.
and we weren't able to do so. This year we're in the mayor's budget with the things that the varsity spending plan requested at $1.25 million.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal.
That is a big
Clap it
deal.
up for the win, y'all. Clap it up.
Yay.
Early.
Whoa.
Early.
Yeah, that's good. And I
Yeah.
think the other Nashville news is there have been ice raids.
Yeah, I had a feeling you was gonna take it there.
in Nashville for the last felt like
I
what
mean,
16
They
days.
are all over the place.
The number I saw was 200 or more people
That's
taken by ice.
so many
Yeah.
people. And families, of course, have been like torn apart. And people sometimes forget, but also this includes Black families as well.
Right.
And I just want to keep reminding people of that, because some people try to like just erase the way Black folks have been, that Black people are immigrants and refugees.
Yeah.
The other thing I though think is that the mayor's office, city council, they started a fund to support families, and Homeland Security is like coming after the mayor in Nashville for like, they say like colluding with those families. And so it's just this interesting thing, this moment to be in. And then Ross Baraka in New Jersey, Newark, the mayor got arrested by for trying to find more information, because basically the tea is that the city was like, y'all can't open up this private prison on this land because it's not up to code. And then I think Homeland ICE went ahead and did, and they were like, well, we need to see what's really going on here. And they arrested him.
And it's Newark, New Jersey.
Yeah. They I was with some folks in New Jersey 2 weeks ago. They said they were telling me it's Newark.
Newark.
Yeah.
North.
Newark.
Yeah, they say it a certain kind of way.
Yeah.
They said it's N-O-R-K. I was like, okay.
Newark. Yeah, that's wild. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's interesting. I think it's interesting that currently we're going through a shrinking of the federal government, but an expansion in law enforcement, right?
Yes.
Which is very interesting too. Like, I want to, we don't actually know who ICE has in their detention facility because since they are a federal law enforcement agency, they don't have to share data.
Well, that was a demand of the city too, to be like, tell us who y'all have in
We
custody.
have no idea. We
Yeah,
don't know the
and
rate.
people can't find it. They
Yeah.
can't find. They looking at hospitals. They looking in jails. They trying to find folks. Whole time ICE got them.
The other thing I wanted to mention, the whole time ICE got, the other thing I wanted to mention, because I just wanted to call out a quick myth. And we, especially when we talk about this, right? You called out one, which is there's black folks that are being detained, right? The second, and also black people are the black immigrants, black folks, African diaspora folks are usually the ones who have to deal with immigration the most throughout the years. So also I wanted to mention is that we have to come against the scarcity mindset. We have to come against that in every single way, shape, form, or fashion, right? It's like there is enough for everybody to be housed where they want to be housed at, to wear the clothes that they want, to drive the car that they want. It's enough to go around, right? And every single time that it has been a specific frustration of mine that when we start talking about these issues, people start bringing out their scarcity mindset around, well, maybe there'll be more. No, that's not how this thing works. There's already enough.
Because they'll be like, if ICE does its job, then there'll be
Housing will
more.
go down.
And that's not true.
That's what I'm saying.
You know who's
It's like-
keeping your housing high?
You're
It's your
still gonna be
landlord.
Also,
It's the
corporation
exactly. They
that your
own most of
landlord
the
is renting
housing.
from. That's what's
They
happening.
own most of the housing.
Right, and remember we were talking to a rural organizer who was working on housing issues in rural Tennessee, and he said that most people blame the wrong person for their lack of housing in rural Tennessee. And he was like, the most productive thing I can do is tell them a corporation own their house.
Let me point you in the right direction.
Over
That's
here.
real.
So we have to.
And they're just raising your rent to raise it. Like they were like, these grocery stores were just raising the price of groceries, not because of inflation, but just because they could.
Because people believe that inflation
Yeah.
is happening, we're going to increase the price of bananas.
How about this? If you listen to my voice in Nashville, do you know who the biggest landowner in that? One of the biggest landowners in Nashville is Oracle. Like, how about this? You want the rent to go down? How about you target Oracle? How about we start doing that instead of talking
Not
about
your neighbor.
right? Instead of talking about the neighbor who's also struggling. The neighbor ain't messing with your rent, cuz. Like, what's going on? So I just wanted to unsettle that myth because we cannot. We have to understand that our neighbors are going through the same things that we are. And it's not a scarcity mindset. Just because they have it don't mean they taking it from you. And when they're gone, don't mean that you're going to get it. That's
Yeah,
1, 2, 3 ABC.
that's so real. That's so real.
Word.
I know.
It's been one of them
that
weeks.
was a lot.
It's been one of them
Yeah,
weeks.
man, I'm telling you, bro.
Let's
they be
take a
getting on my nerves.
collective deep breath. 1, 2, 3.
I'm good.
Okay, Jamil said no. It's fine. I'm in my breath.
breathing the
You're
whole
right.
time.
Let me take a breath for myself then.
You just did.
Sometimes you got to take care of yourself.
you
That's
do.
a word. You felt
You
it?
got to lay hands on yourself.
Hey,
Okay. All right. We'll start with Erica. Since you got the Lord on you, what's been going on in your life? Come on, give us some personal details.
ooh, what's been going on in my life? I've been doing some traveling.
Where you went?
I went to New Jersey and DC, North Carolina, and Murfreesboro.
That counts.
That
It's a long
counts.
drive.
That's a long drive.
That is a long way. That
It's
is
a long way.
outside the city.
And so that was New Jersey was really, really amazing. Have I talked about how amazing that was?
No,
Like I got
what's
to be
up?
with like 10 black women, actually more than 10, but the group was made up of 10 black women plus other people who were there to like train us and pour into us, and it was really, really amazing.
That's
and it was
good.
like kind of in the mountains in New Jersey, and we were like had this walking trail, and maybe there was a bear, but it wasn't a bear, but we thought it maybe was, and we were prepared.
What's something that you learned?
I know that was wild. I was just like, we might see the bear, but we'll be okay.
Well, at least it wasn't a gorilla.
Right, no.
Because y'all only had 10.
Oh, and I do have another thought about the gorilla, but what's your question?
What's something you learned or rediscovered in New Jersey?
Ooh, what did I rediscover? Oh my goodness. I learned what it actually does feel like to be in like overflow, like to be like in community and like gratitude. Like for me, that's overflow, to be like, oh, I'm being nourished and I'm also nourishing other people. And just to be able to take a little moment to be away, to pause, to realize all the amazing things that are happening in my life and be like, oh my goodness, that is happening. Like I'm actually living in like things that I pray for. And so just being able to be in that gratitude and then be able to have like some peer mentorship and things like that. S'mores, like being outside, all of that.
Hold on, what did you say?
Is it s'mores?
S'mores?
Yeah, the like.
S'mores?
Is it s'mores? My bad.
You talking about the marshmallow and the
Yeah,
chocolate?
is it s'mores or s'mores?
You said the same word twice.
One of those things. The chocolate with the marshmallow and the graham cracker with the fire. Beautiful.
It was like integration.
It was a great moment outside. I don't know what you was talking about. So it was so pretty. It was beautiful. It was amazing. I made like some oil perfume thing and did some dancing and journaling and some.
You want to show us one of the dances?
No, not right now.
Okay.
But it was fun. And then the other thing is like I made the list of like one of the strongest people in Nashville. So
talk about it. Yeah.
Give us more. What you mean?
There's a list that the homie Vibe created of people, you know, he like, these people could actually beat the gorilla. Now, I'm never fighting a gorilla. That's not my life.
But if you had to fight the gorilla.
I wouldn't fight it. But the fact that there was a list of the strongest people in Nashville and I made it, like one is like, you know, Fantasia Barrino's like actual security bodyguard. Another is like a person who has worked out over 1,086 days
in a row.
In a row. Another person is like one of the most athletic people we know in the city. And another person is literally like the defense trainer of like all of Middle Tennessee. And so.
And you.
And me. And me. And I said, how strong must I be to be on this list?
You're going to send it up. You're going to send it
I
up.
believe that. So.
I think the thought there is you gonna get everybody else so charged up that they gonna win.
No, for real.
Everyone gonna be like, y'all gonna let this gorilla come in here? Yeah.
So, yeah, I know that, you know, we have each other and we are strong individuals. Yeah. And
that's what's up.
With that group and y'all and probably another 100 people, we can do anything.
Right. I go after you. I was out of town for a little bit. Shout out to Reframing Radcoms. I was out there.
Okay, shirt.
You know, shout out to Fresco on the merch. Fresco really went crazy on the merch for the whole summit. Just with a lot of folks from around the country that are like doing narrative-based work, comms work, and just trying to figure out how we can, in the simplest way I could put it, how we can shift the minds of the people in this country to be more productive and more in alignment with what's actually helpful to the people around them. So just trying to really workshop that, learn more about that, learn how we can do it, you know, learn what we've been doing wrong, because, you know, again, right-wing, conservative, evangelical.
What we've been doing wrong? I'm curious. Just one example.
Yep.
One example is our response time to things.
Talk about
they
that.
said the right response to things in 2 hours, the left responds in 2 days. So the amount of content that happens during that spike. So on the internet, you can tell when certain things spike in conversation. Beyonce drops a tour date, she's gonna spike on the algorithm. So like the left takes 2 days to react to that. The right's on it in 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
So it's like, then of course they're gonna dominate the space online because they had a 2-day head start to get it rolling. So, and I think it'd be because folks be really scared about saying the wrong thing.
Yeah.
But the advantage that the right has is they always saying the wrong thing, so they don't care. You know what I'm saying? They don't care if what we saying is harmful or inaccurate.
No, for real. They just be like, here it is.
They don't care. Like, we gonna be first, we gonna be fast, and we gonna be loud. And it's like, how do we with our narrative, have enough confidence and enough trust and faith in each other.
Right.
That, you know, if I missay something, it's not because I'm working for Fox News, it's because I misspoke or, you know, things like that. Like,
that's a
so
tough place.
trying to figure that out. And
Is it also capacity too? Maybe.
It's definitely a capacity issue. It's a funding issue. It's many issues, but they all fall in alignment with what we're struggling with and what we could do better. So just trying to navigate that and trying to figure out how we can, you know, change the world for real, which is kind of wild to think about, but that's kind of the concept.
Yeah, that's the concept.
Yeah.
That's so real. Somebody asked me yesterday, why did you become a lawyer? I was like, I mean, to be honest, I wanted to change the world. I mean,
yeah, you're going to fight the gorilla for sure. You're gonna fight the gorilla for sure. This is the other thing. This is what I picked up on some personal. So I was talking to an older black man there, and he explained love to me.
What did he say?
And I was like, because he's married, and I was like, so how did you know? You know, the age-old question. Yeah. He was like, this is how you know. You want to be with the person more than you want to be with yourself. But the catch is...
Oh, God, that feels right.
The catch is you got to love yourself first.
Yeah, you do.
Because you got to want to be with yourself. Like, you got to be so solid in yourself. Like, I really don't need nothing else.
He really ate on that.
And if you solid in yourself, you love yourself, and then you find somebody and you're like, I love them so much, I'd rather be with them than spend time with me. That's how you know.
That's really hard because I really, really do love, like, I really love myself. Like, I make myself laugh.
Is this a pitch?
No. I'm not pitching. I realized today, I was like, I bought myself a house.
It sounds like a pitch.
And this commercial is brought to you by.
How amazing is that? No, this is a pitch, but it's just like, yo, like, it's so wild to me because I'm like, God, can I thank you for me? And that's
wow.
But it's not that.
This message is brought to you courtesy of.
No. We're not rapping that.
We're not jacking that.
No. I really, but then I was like, it's actually not even, it's not like in the ego place. It's like, I'm grateful that I have the capacity, the means, the self-awareness to care for myself, to be like, oh, I want some ice cream. I'm gonna get some ice cream. Or maybe I have to care enough for myself to be like, I can't eat ice cream at 11 o'clock at night before I go to bed, you know? But just like those things where it's like, oh, and some of it is just like gratitude, but I be like, God, thank you for me, for my awareness of you.
Because it could have
been
went another way.
Stop it. It could have went another way. So,
for real.
But I feel that because I'm like, yo, I really, really do love and enjoy myself. And so I'm wondering, I'm like, ooh, who is this person that could make me want to like give up, like not give up, but extend myself to be with them. And that is very interesting because I don't know if they're on the dating apps based on what I see.
What makes you? That's interesting.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
That's interesting. What have you seen?
I ain't seen
They ain't on the date now.
It's so hard.
They ain't over there, huh?
They ain't over there.
They might not be on Bumble.
Oh Lord.
Bleep that out.
We gonna hang your jersey in the rafters.
What?
Make sure we bleep that out. We don't endorse.
People be saying they be meeting the love of their life on the dating apps.
Who?
Like some people.
She about to give you a test of 2 people.
Sample size small.
Where else are people meeting? In college?
I'm
past college.
Look, I don't want to knock nobody that found somebody on a dating app.
I think it's cool.
You find people where you find them, but
prove it.
I know me. Come on, Erica. Ain't nothing else shaking though. Ain't nothing else shaking.
Have you been outside? Have you gone anywhere?
You right. I can't because y'all make me work so much and travel.
Us. Okay. All right, Jamel, what's going on with your life?
I know one thing. I ain't on that at all. I'm still in the same spot.
I don't know nobody. I ain't seen nobody.
I'm at the crib. I ain't outside at all.
I'm going outside this summer starting on next weekend.
What you gonna have on?
I'm gonna put it on. PYTO.
Okay.
Yeah, do that. Do that.
I don't think you did that right.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy.
PYTO.
Pretty young thing. But
that's PY. That's not. Yeah, we not.
Okay,
yeah,
we get it.
Y'all not ready for my wardrobe. I think that's a new word. That's it. Come on. Thank
I like
you.
it.
That's better. That's better. So I've been really trying to research. Like, I think I've been trying to find out like what I want to do long term, and so I was thinking about going back to school.
Ooh, for
I ain't
what?
figured out yet though.
Divinity?
Nah.
That's
nah.
crazy.
No, it's
Nah,
not.
heck no. Something around.
My daddy be saying you might be called the priest.
Oh no, don't do that.
Low key though,
Lord Jesus.
Jamel be a fire preacher. I go back to church. Hey,
No, nah.
You know it's gonna be thorough because you're a good teacher too.
it's gonna be grounded in the context.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get better at. It's like I'm trying to get better at teaching
Oh, that's real.
without being in a classroom every day. And also, I don't think a classroom every day is how you really get good at teaching. So that's why I was thinking about going back to school and get my PhD. And something like anthropology. I don't know what it's gonna be, but I know one thing: Mark Lamont Hill is on a fire run right now, and he has definitely motivated me to go back to school.
For real.
That's real.
Oh my God! Have you ever seen somebody that's pseudo intellectual? Have you ever seen somebody that's pseudo intellectual? Like they just say really stupid things really well. Like, have you ever talked to somebody who really believes in flat Earth, and like they just know how to say the words? Now put that next to somebody who actually know how to research.
Yeah.
It is the most entertaining thing ever. Mark Lamont Hill been sniping. I mean, he like Cyclops with his visor. He hitting everything moving.
And you know what? I be seeing a bunch of people. I don't know if these is movement people or what. They might just be voices on the internet. They might be bots. I don't know. But people be not rocking with Mark Lamont Hill.
Yeah.
And I be like,
Hey, I like
he
him.
be pretty solid on most things. Like,
Every time but see, this is the thing though. See, people be exposing themselves. Because when they start saying they don't rock with Mark Lamont Hill, I be like, every single time they try to describe, it's like, oh, you don't like people that actually read. You don't like people that can cite where they're getting their information from.
Yeah.
Because when they ask you to cite it, you be like, I ain't gotta cite nothing. What?
yeah.
But how I'm gonna learn from you, friend, if you don't tell me where it came from?
The other person on the Joe Budden podcast literally told Mark Lamont Hill he didn't have to read to learn. Mark Lamont Hill was like,
How does he
What?
learn? Is it like watching things or like what is it?
He
He's
was
a
Audiobooks?
visual learner.
Oh, that's helpful too.
Yeah.
Like
no. You can't cite a study on visual learning.
but I thought maybe he like
There are
audiobooks.
other ways to learn.
There are
something.
definitely other
Yeah.
ways to
Yeah.
learn, but you can't sit up there next to a PhD trying to tell the PhD that
Sometimes it's time to be quiet.
yes.
That's so real.
Yes.
I love that. Like
But if-
I'm quiet when we talk about,
Oh, Lord.
weather
Oh, Lord.
and physics. You know, because like
when do we talk about physics?
When people do that, if they do.
Who is around you that talks about
No,
physics?
no. I don't have
Do
anybody.
you know what
now.
physics is? I've never
Now
seen
might
it
be that
seriously.
time. Now might
Who out there around here
Now might be
talking
the
about
time.
physics? Very small numbers. Who's talking about?
Okay, engineering. I don't know anything about that.
Okay, bet.
So yeah.
Thank you,
Okay.
Queen.
That's real good. South girl era.
What?
No, we found out earlier this week that Erica like people with rough lives.
That's not the truth.
Very rough life.
She wants you to look like what you've been through. That's what I heard.
Why
I don't know
y'all-
if it's
why
true.
y'all
That's what
acting
the streets are saying.
Yeah, acting like
That's what the
that.
streets are saying. I don't know.
I'm done, bro. I'm done.
But you've been good though, bro.
Yeah. That's what I've been really looking into, bro. It's like what? Like I don't know nobody that got a PhD. Like I don't really know nobody who does that. So the reason I found it is because I was really trying to figure out what's a better way I can teach. And quite frankly, I found two different things. And I'm just gonna be painstakingly honest. There's a lot of grifters out there.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, it's a lot of
it's a
grifters.
lot.
Oh my God! When I looked up people who teach, the first black people who teach, the first couple of people that showed up were like on stage talking about financial empowerment, and if you pay me $1,500 over 6 weeks, I'll make sure.
I
that
gotta
you
know.
I was like, what?
Did the self-proclaimed president of Black America show up in this search?
No. Definitely some Umarians did show up.
'Cause
I'm
he got a
you
doctorate, don't
definitely love Umarians.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for real. But
That's
yeah,
why he
that's-
the president of the Black United States of America.
he is though.
But
That is
how
true.
is he Pan African? Why would he? Anyways,
Look,
it ain't making sense.
Nah, it ain't. But yeah, that's what I've been on.
That's real, Jamil.
Yeah. Trying to figure that out.
Thank you for sharing.
okay. So we
Okay.
making it through. It's been a week, y'all. Okay, all right. This where I want us to go on this day in history.
Yep.
We're gonna do it in chronological order. I got
Okay.
1998.
I got the. I think I got that Sunday.
1865.
Ooh, you beat me.
1865. Mine's happens in 1960s.
Okay, so Erica then Jamel and me.
May
Let's get it.
20th, 1865, Florida. That's when enslaved Africans in Florida found out about the Emancipation Proclamation and got free.
And if it wasn't for that, we would have never got No Flocking by Kodak Black.
Yeah. Gang, gang, gang.
Okay, shout out to FAMU too. They going through some stuff too. My God.
What they going through?
What's happening, family?
We got to say that for the next episode. It's a lot.
Oh, okay.
But also shout out to the Rattlers.
Hold on, you on
right?
here with 2 TSU grads? You are wilding right now.
Oh, I love all HBCUs.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
well, I love FAMU for sure and TSU.
Do you love Grambling?
Yeah.
Perryview?
Yeah, I got a cousin that graduated from
Okay,
there.
I just had to double check. You know what I'm saying?
A&M?
And Lane, yeah. Which AM in
Alabama?
Normal?
Yeah.
Oh, normal.
Yeah. And Lamar
Normal
Owen.
Huntsville. Oh, okay.
Come on.
Oh, take it to the Midwest.
You might have a little on you. So my day in history is May 19th, 1925. Malcolm X was born, so he would have turned 100 this year.
Oh, May 19th.
Yeah.
19th.
Oh,
What are you
that's
doing for
crazy.
Malcolm X Day?
I don't know. There's not a lot here.
Hey, happy Malcolm X Day from
For
Beginning
real.
Goods Podcast.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Come
saying?
on.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a lot. I mean, I wish I could go to New
What?
York because
Is
there's
it
a lot
on-
going on.
Hold on.
Sebastian.
I need this. Tell me how Malcolm X has inspired you. Give me some Malcolm
we
X
gotta do
history.
it.
Give us. We need.
Oh yeah, we can
get
do
in
a
your
lot.
bag.
So I think we talked about before, like I think Malcolm X is such an interesting character. I think he's up there with like one of the greatest historical figures that we've ever had, but also one of the most misunderstood, and one that's capitalism tries to package and sell to us back in an abusive way, right? Because we really want to remember Malcolm X. He is a bastion of what it means to be in community with black women. Because every step of the way in his transformation,
that's real.
from Malcolm Little to Detroit Red, from Detroit Red to Malcolm X to El Malik Shabazz Muhammad, El Malik Shabazz, he has always had black women that shuffled him along the way and guided his transformation, right? And so one interesting piece I think about Malcolm that is not talked about is those women. Like his mother is a Garveyite. You know what I'm saying? What's
a Garveyite?
So a Garveyite is somebody who follows Marcus Garvey. So when we talk about Marcus Garvey, people talk about the United Negro Association, the UNIA, but they don't talk about like Garveyism was an actual religion of Christianity. It was a denomination. So these are Christians, but all of their biblical characters are black, right? Because Garvey was one of the first people that was like, we should have a savior that looks like us. And since no one has ever seen Jesus, how do you know that person ain't black? So let's just make everybody in the whole, right? And so that's why Malcolm X's father, Earl Little, is a minister. But he's a minister of a Garveyite church, okay? Which is also why he is killed by the Klan, right? And then they lock his mother up in an insane asylum. They literally lock up Malcolm Little's mother, right? And his family gets split up. One of his sisters is one of the early adopters of the nation. So when he goes to prison as Detroit Red, correspondence with one of his sisters is one of the first introductions that he gets to the Nation of Islam, right? Which is interesting because in the official canon, when we talk about the movie, right, that's where the movie kind of diverts away from the official canon. Because you watch the movie, it's like he ran the person in prison. It was like, no, his sister put him on. So that's when he turns into Malcolm X, right? And then when he becomes Malcolm X, his relationship with Betty Shabazz, Dr. Betty Shabazz, actually is so grounding. That's what gives him the ability to not only set up mosques across the country, but globally, right? Before Malcolm X becomes the national minister of Elijah Muhammad's Nation of Islam, there's very few mosques in the Nation of Islam, and most of them are filled up with older folks. But when Malcolm arrives on the scene, within the 10 years that he's in the nation, there's a mosque in every major metropolitan city that has a black population. So he spreads out amongst everything, and he could not have done that without Dr. Betty Shabazz, right? When he's expelled from the Nation of Islam, he goes abroad twice, right? He doesn't just go abroad once.
Right.
He goes abroad twice. And both of those times, black women that are in Africa actually set up his going to meet with other leaders. Also, while he's in the nation, one thing that transforms him in the nation, because we can talk about why he's expelled. One major reason he expelled is because his politics change when he's in the nation, right? The nation's official stance is separatism. Give us our own black spot, our own black land, give us control of our own black economy, all of that, right? A nation within a nation. Malcolm, because of his reading of communist newspapers, so when you see him speaking, where he gets his information from is black communist women writers. That's where he gets his information from. He's historically reading those papers, right? And so throughout that time, that's why he talks about when Kennedy is assassinated, that's why he says, like, I ain't never got home mad when chickens come home to roost. That's actually, if you listen to the whole statement, it's a very poetic speech or statement on colonization and how America's evils will always come back. But they clipped only one part of it, right? And so that's one reason why he falls out. But when he goes abroad and he meets with all of these African leaders, and this is the Malcolm that I think historically capitalism wants us to forget this Malcolm. When he comes back, he's like, oh no, we don't actually, if we separate from everybody, we actually cut ourselves off from the African diaspora. So what we actually need to do is we need to create enough unity amongst black folks in the United States, in the belly of the beast, that we can actually present a united front and actually support African liberation struggles across the entire globe. Because when he's assassinated, Africa is starting to liberate themselves. So we getting people like Patrice Lumumba, we getting Thomas Sankara, we getting Sekou Touré. He's meeting with those folks in Africa. So I think like that's also the context. His unfinished project is creating enough Afro-American unity, right, which was the organization that he started, the OAU, to create enough Afro-American unity so we can actually enter into the global stage as one people, a part of a larger diaspora.
Yeah.
Incredible. Happy Malcolm X Day.
Whoa. Thank you, Jamel.
Oh, no problem.
I also want
I
to
love
ask a cultural piece. Also, and this is one thing that I can say Spike did a good job of.
Yeah.
Is iconographing the letter X to
Big
where
X.
anytime you see a letter X, the first thing you think about is Malcolm X because of the X hat. And everybody saying that they are Malcolm X and the pride and dignity that he reflected that people connected to.
Yeah.
Only a battle of comparable to DMX,
right?
Which May 19th, 1998, DMX put out It's Dark and Hell is Hot. So he put out 2 albums in that same year. It's Dark and Hell is Hot is May 1998. Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood is December 1998.
Run. This was a run of a century. It was
like
one of the greatest runs of all time.
You like how I connected it all together.
Did. The X. Okay.
It's one of the greatest runs of all time.
Oh, yeah, it was a crazy run.
Is this Stop, Set 'Em Down, Open Up Shop? Is this that?
This is Rough Rider Anthem, DMX, yeah.
One of the greatest albums of all time.
So, yeah, I went last year, in the summertime, I went through his whole discography. I was just studying DMX and just listening to all of the music that he made. And you hear these, like, extremely, like, dark, like, stories, like his battles with the devil. He used to refer to himself as Damien in certain albums, as like the child of the devil, and all of these things that happened to him. Like somebody laced his weed when he was a child.
Yeah, he talks about this
and
too.
that sent him down a bad path. And he battles that, consistently. But you also hear like extremely harmful narratives, extremely like dark and wicked things. But the album will round out, and he'll pray for forgiveness and pray to not be haunted by these demons. And he's trying to escape this, like, it's dark and hell is hot. Like, it's like he's very much so aware of the things that he's participating in, or some of it is, fictional, and it's things that, in that era in hip hop, people would just try to say the most wild thing you can say, and that was a style of rap back then. But some of it is just like, nah, this is really like harmful narratives and stuff like that. But to hear him like pray at the end of these albums and to seek God and throughout these processes and looking for deliverance and trying to find a way out that he can't seem to find, which is a really interesting thing that's threaded through his whole discography.
Yeah. I remember you talking about that last year.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Okay. Y'all gave me something to think about. I'm going to revisit a few of Malcolm X's speeches and writings. And
a few of DMX's albums.
I might listen to 2 songs.
Okay.
The ones with Eve. I like that.
The ones with Eve.
Yeah.
Okay, bet.
You
All
really
right.
You really talking about 2 songs. I'm like, what song?
Got it.
No, he got that song. He'd be like, I trip, I falling, and I can't get up.
Slipping.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
I think Slipping is on Flesh of My Flesh.
So when I listen to that one, it's like, even in that one, he paints a great picture of trying to find his balance. Like he's like coming to the wedding, like I'm falling, y'all. Like I slipped, I'm falling, and I cannot get up. Like and even in that one, it's like, if I remember it correctly, it's almost like a struggle with God too. So he has a lot of like religion.
Wrestling,
And it's the addiction thing too.
So
It's like
hard.
that addiction battle is hard.
Nah,
like,
for real.
Because physically, it's like, I can't stop. Like I will actually die if I stop.
Right.
Like if I stop cold turkey, I'm not gonna make it by myself.
Yeah.
So and we always encourage people to get help when you need it. Don't be
Yeah.
afraid to get help.
For sure.
Yes,
Lean
sir.
on the people around you. Community.
Got to.
But it's also another thing, because all of these issues are, important. This week alone, we seeing so many things. Like I want to know what y'all thoughts are around like movement building.
Yeah.
What they call at the Narrative Power Summit, Big Tent Strategies. What time is it?
7:57.
Good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we good.
So we can touch on this briefly and we can pick it back up on the next episode. But what do y'all think? Give me one thought exit on how we can unify all these different issues. Some people may care about climate crisis. Some people may care about housing issues. Some people may care about bodily autonomy and women's rights and things like that. Like, what do you think is the message we can send out there, put out into the universe to unify our movements?
So one thing we have to learn, I think, and get a bigger tool around is coalition building. And when I say coalition, I'm talking about targeted pieces of unity between organizations for a brief period of time. Not a consistent 6 month, 12 month, 4 year, 6 year, not a locked in all the time, but a very limited amount of time of working together around a specific campaigns. So I think we have to be in organizations, and our members in organizations have to be nuanced enough to be able to understand where the cross section of campaigns are, and then coalition and build in that space, right? I think too many times people just try to jam all the organizations together or jam all the people together without an actual agenda on what we're going to be working on. So I think we have to get better about being in coalition and then stepping away from coalition and then being back in coalition, right? So I think that's one place, is like researching how to do that. Like, how do we build our coalitions? What has worked in the past? What has not worked in the past? After being a member of an organization, and then in what ways does environmental justice cross-sector with reproductive justice, what does that campaign look like? And let's go get a win. And then when we get that win, let's sit down and talk about what happened, what went well, what didn't, and let's split apart and then come back together later.
I like it.
Yeah, I think what Jamel said is right. I think the other issue that what I think you were also trying to get at is that, like, it feels like some people don't care about the issue unless it's like impacting them.
Yeah, no, for real.
So I'm
That's
like, a part of our work is like, how do we, cultivate a space where people begin to see how, one, their issue is connected to other issues, but also caring about other people. Like, I don't have to be necessarily impacted by the ice race to care. Like, I don't have to be convinced to care. Like, I just care.
Right.
Because I care about people.
Right.
And so that's one piece of it. And then the other piece of it is, making sure people do know, like, how the ice rates are connected to are connected to policing, are connected to safety, are connected to the erosion of like our just certain policies that say that you should get due process and things like that. And so I think it's twofold, but I think the underlying issue is we should care about other people.
Nah,
like,
for
you know what I
real.
mean?
That's
I think
real.
that's the place that you build coalition, because I think one of our members said it best, but and I'm not saying his name because I don't know if it's cool, but if he says I can, I'll come back and say who said it. But one of the most brilliant things I heard him say in a space was he was like, I'm down to work on the issue that y'all care more about now because I trust that you'll come back and work on my issue next. And I'm like, where is that? At the end of the day, we just want people to care about each other.
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah, if I can add one piece, I do want to. This conversation also makes me think like, I do think communities have to work on their anti-blackness.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think that also is a place to start. If the organization is not working on anti-blackness or like being anti-poor people or being anti-working class, then it's gonna be hard to cross-sector anything.
I agree with you, and if I can just say something, I think that is so true. And this is not to big up our organization, but this is to name that to be a part of an organization and be like, well, you know, folks are moving in patriarchy or homophobia, transphobia. Like you also, like we create a container where we're like, we have to work through those things so people can be in community together. Yeah. Cause you know, some folks can say, cool, I don't want to go in that space cause people be homophobic and transphobic, or cause people do be classist, or people are sexist. And that is not exclusive to people who are not black. That is actually in black spaces too. And so I'm like, we have to create an environment and a container for us to work through those things, just in the same way we're asking people to work through like anti-blackness and classism.
Right, and we have to work on those things before we start working together. Like I think those things also kind of solve themselves out of being in relationship with people sometimes. But we have to be in relationships and in close proximity. Like you said, we got to start with genuinely caring for our neighbor. Mm-hmm. Like if we don't have a genuine care for my neighbor, then I might not. Then certain folks just don't have no curiosity enough to explore those parts of themselves. Yeah. But you got to just start with basic empathy for the person who living next door to you.
Yeah. For me, I think it's the relationship part for sure. Which is what I was going to say. It's like the relationships are fundamental to being able to see each other's humanity. Because sometimes, like, absent relationship, we can work in our silos and stuff and be like, okay, cool, yeah, we're in solidarity with them over there. But as soon as they step on your toes, now it's a problem.
No, that's real.
You know what I'm saying? And relationship kind of prevents that infighting, because now with relationship, I know, oh, this was an accident. Or maybe you did it on purpose, but we got the tools to work through that complexity, because we kind of holding the core belief that, like, we on the same team, end of the day.
And I'm curious, like, what is it where it's like you can look at somebody in pain and not be like, oh, gosh, I need to do something about that. I think some aspects of, like, the inability or the decision not to do something about it, maybe folks are caught up in, like, their own lives, which I totally get. And so I'm like, how do we get people to be like, yes, what is happening in your own life is very real, and we should like support each other through that, and we should care about another person who is also in pain. Mm-hmm. And because I'm like, I don't need relationships to be like, dang, that person is struggling. Like,
but
I need to work
capacity though.
Yeah, I do need capacity, and I think, and to Jamel's point, what he always says is like organization. So I'm like, I alone cannot solve the displacement issue. Like, I'm heartbroken to learn so many people who are being displaced in Nashville. I'm heartbroken to know about so much, and so like I know I can't address all those things by myself. But I'm just curious on like, how do we continue to cultivate like compassion and empathy so we can see each other, and it doesn't take me being your best friend to be like, oh, I wish you didn't hurt like that, and decide to do something about it.
Think about how lit it's finna be though, when it's like the reproductive rights folks is clicked up with the local organizers in this subgroup of this group over here on the east side, and then they also with the workers union, and then they also with this group over here. We finna have a game. It's finna be a wrap. Like, if we can find a way to unify our struggles together, it ain't gonna be nothing we can't touch, because it's more of us. It's more of us than it is of them. Yeah, it's more true. Love over here. It's fly over here. The food tastes better. The water colder. The water colder, the tea hotter.
The dance is better.
The music better.
Come on.
I mean, I think once we really unify, it's gonna be particularly beautiful. It's gonna be like that scene in Sinners. Like, it's gonna be all of us and all our ancestors and all our descendants in the room at the same time.
And sometimes your ancestors gonna have to like reconcile some stuff before you invite them into space.
Nah, for real.
You got to press out some of your ancestors.
Nah, for
That's real.
I definitely would love to have this conversation more because the one part of my brain is like, I don't know if that's possible. Like, to be honest.
That's
like
real.
because I think folks need to be so far out. They're gonna have to do a lot of training because I don't know, man. I've been in proximity with some folks before.
I feel like
I've been in proximity with some folks before, and that shit did not work out well.
I feel like I tried to land it on like a,
No,
really,
Mike did.
a happy and optimistic note.
You know, I had
And
another.
Jamel was like, nah.
I gotta say what somebody thinking.
As
It's
a
like
person,
that
I do
was
want to
tough,
say,
bro.
I don't know.
That's a tough-
I want to have this conversation more.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Because I have more questions for you, and I also have some, examples of people who have done the work with people.
I'm definitely curious about that one.
Maybe didn't show up well.
Oh, yeah.
And so I just
Shout out to Kate. I just want to shout Kate out.
oh,
Kate the homie. I
yeah.
met Kate in
You
New
gotta make sure
Orleans.
that she cool with you saying her name.
Oh,
That's why I say the other person's name.
I can't shout out.
I don't know. That's why I be trying to be. Anyways, we can take this. Out.
Response time 2 days.
Right. That's why right there.
Response time 2 days.
It's not that ain't.
I didn't
it.
say their last name.
Okay, you right. You right.
That
Cool,
could
cool,
be
cool.
a random person.
You right.
Yeah.
All right, bet. My bad. Maybe because I know who they are. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I do think we do a great example of collaboration.
I
and
love
working
it.
through
I
stuff
love
together.
it. Everybody say something positive before we get up out of here.
What's my positive? I really appreciate y'all, and I just want to say I'm so excited to learn all the things that you learned, about all the things you learned at Radcoms. Like it's been really, really amazing to hear some of those lessons and tools. I really appreciate that. Jamel is, I say this all the time to anybody who will listen. Jamel is one of the best teachers that I know. Y'all know I get caught up in listening to Jamel teach. Like I be like a student. And I'll be like,
Lord.
be quiet. I'll be like, oh my God, I'm having such a good time. So that's my positive thing.
Beautiful.
What do you want to say about me? No, I'm playing.
No, we're going to let Jamel go last. I'm going to say Erica got it on today, y'all. Hey, I seen Erica earlier today. I said, I like this. I do like this. She said her feet hurt.
No, my feet don't hurt because I put in the right shoes. The shoes are
The
too
insoles.
big, though. I mean, the right insoles, yeah.
Okay.
Anyways.
I think it's beautiful that you are flexible enough to just not even go through life, not even knowing your shoe size. We just gonna figure it out. You know what I'm saying? And that's the sign of a true leader. You know what I'm saying?
I can adapt.
I can adapt.
That's some thug.
Jamel, again, with the teaching, anytime Jamel starts teaching, just like this Malcolm X lesson had me locked in.
No, for
I'm
real, I
I'm
was
finna
like,
go,
okay,
I'm
what?
finna go read a book right now.
I want to know what he was reading.
You should read his diaries.
Okay.
That's
No, I'm talking about you was like he was reading these
talk
black
about-
women communists.
he
Like I
talk
want to
about
know who he was
He
reading.
talked about it in his diaries, but I
Okay.
can bring it back.
Oh, come
Yeah,
on.
yeah, that would be fine. So, yeah, but also Jamel has been teaching all week.
He has. Literally all week.
Literally all week. And I mean, the way we need that, bro, especially we need more of that in the media. Like, I'll be the first person who's trying to have a good time and just be fun and lighthearted and all of that. But at the same time, it's like there's such an influx of misinformation and revisionist history taking place. Having those teachers in our communities and in spaces is really, really important. So I appreciate you for that, bro.
For
That's
sure.
so real.
Appreciate that. I do want to say Mike done dropped fire lately. The
Come
visuals been
on.
crazy. the audio been crazy. So Mike been dropping some real fire, and I think that imagery that you've been dropping, Mike.
That's
I
good.
think
Ooh,
the
it's so
more
good.
I think the more we accept that imagery as black folks, the more we can see each other. The less anti-black we become, and the more celebratory of our full blackness.
Yeah.
That's real.
We can do. So Mike's been dropping some major heat and fire.
Appreciate that.
And then Erica has been her usual. I'm just playing. I think for real. So I think Erica has definitely been doing a great job of making sure that I'm in check in several different ways, but then also just being very present and in the space when you needed to.
Erica's been here.
He said, Erica's helped me, and Erica's here. All right. Okay.
Which is helpful. We're happy that you're here.
No.
We all
for
appreciate.
real.
Don't we all
No,
appreciate that
hold
Erica's
on.
here?
But y'all don't know this. Erica can get where you can't catch her. Like Erica do so much work, so much, and she's moving so fast that sometimes it's very hard to call her, talk to her on the phone, or catch her because she's doing so much. Right? Because you be on Zoom calls. I can get into detail, and I don't think you want me to get into detail.
It's okay. It's okay. We don't have to do that.
But it's been Erica's been doing a very great job of being more balanced and grounded, which has also made her like just more in the space, right? Because I'd be like, I wish Erica was just here.
In the space, taking up space, and we appreciate sharing your space.
I'm here. That's good.
This is the Get the Goods podcast. If you have thoughts, questions, things you want us to talk about on the next episode, you can email us at getthegoodspod@gmail.com. Our website is organization is oursmc.org. If you want to learn more, we got the community dinner coming up.
Yep.
We got the mass meeting coming up.
Yep.
We got the public comment coming up. We got a lot of great things coming up that y'all can get in the streets with us. And as always, when we work together,
we win together.
When we win together,
We can
We change the world.
Peace, y'all.
Oh my goodness, we're changing the world. My childhood self is so happy. It just clicked for me. After Jamel told me, whoo, Lord, Jamel couldn't find it. He could not find it.